together. Listen, that's it from us for this morning. Kay is here now.
I'm very sad about it all. Latin was my favourite subject.
And have you used it much?
Oh, we took the mickey out of our Latin teacher, something shocking.
Oh, we had a lovely Latin teacher, Mr. Melville. We really did. Well, yeah, I think you do use it a lot. I mean, maybe not, in of itself. I don't go around quoting Latin very much, but it gives a great understing of languages.
Yeah, just if you're reading a book and something's in Latin, you can go, yes, I actually get the gist of that.
I know, we're old fogies, aren't we? Never mind. There you go. Thank you very much. Au revoir.
Salve.
Bye.
All aboard! All aboard! All aboard! Let's go!
This is Kay Adams with you till 12 on BBC Radio Scotland. It is Monday the 3rd of February. Good morning to you. Keir Starmer is heading to Brussels to meet with the European leaders as we speak, with these words ringing in his ears.
European Union is really out of line. UK is out of line, but I'm sure I think that one can be worked out.
President Trump there talking tariffs. It puts Keir Starmer on a tightrope. Does the UK have to pick a side, America or the EU? Which way would you go? 08085 92 95 00 is a number to call. Also coming up this morning.
Roll up, roll up. Come join the fair with Scotland's show people.
Yeah, Scotland's show people let us see behind all the fun of the fair. Simon Calder is somewhere.
Check 1, 2. Everybody make way. Party people come and throw your hands up. Put 'em up, bounce, hold steady.
Before then, so are you ready? Honestly, I give up. It might be bogus.
If you see a faded sign at the side of the road that says 15 miles to the I got me a car, it's as big as a
The B-52s with the Love Shack. 11 minutes past 10, Kay Adams with you till 12 on BBC Radio Scotland. Now, according to the song, there's no business like show business. But now we get to meet Scotland's show people in a new BBC Scotland documentary series. Show people form a community of, I think it's just around 1,600 people who tour the country for 10 months of the year, running stalls and ride come rain, hail or shine. And I certainly remember that as someone brought up in Grangemouth, where they came and I believe actually I've got with me Sarah Sheenan, who's a senior funding partner at TSF Finance, who has a show person background. Hi Sarah.
Hiya.
Hiya. And Alex James Cahoon, who's a junior vice president of the Showman's Guild of Great Britain. Hi Alex.
Hi there.
Hi. But we were just having a wee chat there, weren't we, Sarah? And I was saying I come from Grangemouth, and of course the shows came to Grangemouth every single year, which is part of the community. And it's when I was just saying there, rain, hail or shine, because it was a big deal depending on what the weather was going to be when the shows were in town. If it was rainy, it was like murder, and if it was sunny, it was yay, everything was fantastic. Yeah, it was good.
Yes.
So what's your connection then? Sarah first and then Alex.
Yeah, sure. So I come from a show people background. I don't travel myself, but many generations before me and my family have. My family were settled though, so I went to school and university and then ended up coming back up to Scotland, and my business is predominantly servicing show people and financing their assets and other bits and pieces they need to keep the show on the road.
Right. So how do we define show people then?
Oh, that's a good question. I suppose it's anybody that's come from the background of travelling families, but lifestyle travelling families for their profession. So anybody that has travelling fun fairs, and originally back in the day it was kind of lots of side stalls and shows and carnivals and the circus, etc. So it goes back hundreds and thousands of generations, or hundreds of thousands of years rather, and that's where we all come from.
Yeah. And so Alex, what's your link?
Well, very much the same. I come from generations of show people. I don't actually have any rides or anything anymore. I'm a manager in Blair Safari Park, so I still keep a link to that through the Showman's Guild, and I still work for the community to try and make sure that they're put across in the best light and things like that, and deal with government and local authorities. But Sarah says it goes back many, many generations. Originally it would have been performers and things like that. We brought cinema, all those kind of things first come through travelling fairgrounds. Then it developed onto rides and all that sort of stuff. So it's been something that goes back hundreds of years, and it's brought a lot to Scotland. And Scotland was at the forefront of all of the things that came in, bingo, cinemas, all this sort of stuff. It was all kind of things that we developed here in Scotland first. So,
am I right in thinking you grew up travelling though with your parents?
Yes, I did. Yep.
So what kind of life was that then?
Well, it had good and bad. It's a good life in that you would be meeting different people every week. You would always go to places that you would like, Grangemouth, Hoyt, all these kind of places. You would meet people there. Sometimes you would go to school if it was that time of year that you could get into school. It also had bad points as well, where some places you weren't particularly welcome. Had some schools that were kind of difficult back then, but you just have to get on with it and get through it. But overall, it's a really good lifestyle travelling about. You know, you would go into school, and some schools people would look at you as if you were some sort of star or something like that. And, you know, it was really good that way, or it could go the exact opposite. So,
well, I guess the kids would be begging you for free rides, would they not?
Exactly. You still get that now.
Big question, Alex. Did you ever do the waltzers?
Yes, my grandfather owned waltzers. So from about 7-year-old, I was spinning the waltzer cars. So.
Go faster, go faster.
Exactly.
Yeah. So has it been a big decision, do you think, to allow cameras in, Sarah? Because as Alex says, good and bad, and there can be some negative responses as well to travelling show people.
Yeah, we were actually just talking about this earlier. It was a huge deal for us to bring in the cameras and give them that kind of behind the scenes look into our lives. And there was a lot of show people that were kind of a bit sceptical to doing it in the first place, because there has been times in the past where we haven't been shown in the best light, and it's not necessarily educated people on who we actually are. So I think that's one thing that we're really proud about this programme, is it has come across really well, and it does give a proper insight into who we are as people, as businessmen and women. We're all very hard workers. We give a lot back to our communities, and also have a huge community ourselves, and everybody looks after each other, and I think that was really important that we got that across, and yeah, we're really happy about it.
Well, I mean, you said as business people, and obviously these travelling fairs, I would imagine that the rides, etc., the sort of capital assets that you have are very, very expensive. Money has to be raised in order to finance those, and indeed you have to balance the books and make sure that it's a viable business proposition, which is probably not a side of it that people immediately think of. But that's what you're focused on now in your professional life, Sarah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some of these machines or rides can cost hundreds of thousands of pounds, and getting asset finance is a way for them to spread the cost the same way that people spread their house and their mortgages over a period of time. These machines, that's their livelihood, and they'll care just as much about the machines and the rides as they do like paying for their house payments if you were not a show person. So that's where, but it's really important that there's lenders out there that will support the community, because for a long time there wasn't. So part of what I've been doing is kind of starting to build more lenders on our panel that will help show people and try and understand the community, because there's lots of opportunity there. It is an underserved market, but we're making strides, and it's starting to work for us.
Yeah, and just that, you know, the world is changing around the show people, around all of us actually. Is there still a market, Alex, in terms of, I mean, I'm thinking of the Grangemouth Children's Day, as we called it. You don't call it the Gala Day, it's a Children's Day. You know, it was hugely popular, but people have got other interests now. I mean, my dad would never leave the country on the day of the Grangemouth Children's Day. I'm not sure people would do that now, you know.
Well, I think those things are very popular still, and I think that's something that's kind of the bread and butter of the fairground industry. We are part of that. We are part of the common ridings. We are part of the Highland Games. All of those things are still extremely popular, and the two things kind of work together. We work very closely with them. I think that the risk is in the future, do we develop new events like this? How do we move forward? Because a lot of events are falling by the wayside just because, you know, they can't get a committee, or they can't find the things, or they're not as popular as it was in the past. So it's trying to find new things or new ways of getting these things across to the community, because it's what makes, you know, like you said, your dad, that's what made that community. All of the community would want to have their gala day or their children's day or their, you know, their common ridings, and some of those things are getting lost now, and that would be, you know, it would be something terrible for Scotland, I think, if we lost all those things, because it's about bringing communities together, giving them that 1 or 2 days a year where everyone meets everyone, and the children all get to have fun and have good times, and it keeps our industry going as well, because you know, without those, there would be no industry. The fun fairs, standalone fun fairs, just aren't as popular. So I think that there's still, you know, still good popularity there within all of those events, but it's about finding new events and new ways to move that forward.
So how many different sort of towns and villages, cities, whatever, across Scotland do you visit in a 10-month cycle?
I mean, how long is a piece of string?
Oh, yeah, all right, you couldn't...
I couldn't really give you a number.
Yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, sometimes we would go to Greenock for 3 weeks. You would maybe have two-week fairs. Now, most of the time, it's all, every weekend you'll be at a different fair.
Right.
So it's about that thing at the start of the season where you will have the fairs that you always attend. So it'll be the same fair you'll attend every single year. You may have one that's not so good, so you'll try and find somewhere else to replace that week. Or if something's been cancelled or something else, you'll try and find another fair. So it's pretty settled in the fairs that you do, but it's almost every single weekend you would have another fair to attend, so you'll be in a different town or city.
I mean, it sounds like a pretty exhausting life. I mean, it's interesting you experience it as a child, Alex, which I think would be one experience, but as an adult, maybe an adult with children, I would imagine you're juggling a lot, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good life. Don't get me wrong, it's a really good life, but I had 2 daughters, so it made it more difficult for me to take the business around the country, because if you have a son, there's always, you know, there's someone there to back you up and to help you out, taking the rides up and taking the rides down and things. So having 2 daughters kind of made the decision for me to come out and go and do other things. But you know, it is difficult. We have, you know, there's a great deal of stress within the industry, but there's also a great deal of fun as well. You know, when show people get together, you see some of the footage. It's great banter. We have some great characters, and that's one of the things that I do miss, not travelling on the fairs. Just, seeing people that you haven't seen for a few weeks, and they've always got good stories, and we have some, as I said, really good characters within the industry.
Yeah. And so your parents came out of it, did they? Or did they ever travel?
Yeah, so both sets of my grandparents travelled up and down the country, from London all the way up to the Highlands as well. So, but they settled down kind of in their mid-40s. So as much as my parents travelled when they were children, they had then inevitably settled down as well. But I've always been part of the community, even though I haven't physically travelled. So I've still got extended family that travel, and I'll go and see them on the weekend when they're here, there and everywhere. Some of them are over in Northern Ireland just now. So you just go where everybody else goes, and you make the most of it.
But I mean, in terms of the show people community, is it facing that reality that more of the younger generations will opt for a different lifestyle?
Yes, very much so. There's lots of, I suppose, younger people like me that have gone into other professions. I mean, Alex's daughter's a solicitor, so and that's just another example. We've got other people that have left the show business. But I must say that a lot of the younger showmen are kind of starting to come back into it now, and are starting to see there is a life here for them. There's, with lots of new technology, new equipment, they are investing in themselves and in that equipment, and they're making a go for it. And it's really nice to see, because for a while there was a worry that it was maybe starting to dwindle, but I don't have that feeling now. I don't know about you, Alex.
Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword. When I was growing up, education was difficult. I would be in one school one week and a different school another. So it was really difficult to gather any kind of an education. As we've gone through that, working through the Guild and other things, children have been able to get better educated and go on and get further education to become lawyers and do what Sarah and stuff does. So they obviously get the opportunity to go out and do things that I never got that opportunity to do. But I do think that hopefully there is always an industry. In Scotland, we have much more red tape and other things for fun fairs than what they do anywhere else. So it is a difficult business to break into. But also with the finance side, when my parents were growing up, you couldn't get any kind of a finance because it was a travelling community. Now, what Sarah does and other people, there is finance there. It's available, so people can invest and can get better rides and can kind of build a business. So, there's both good and bad, and I would hate to see it ever disappear, because I think it's a really good community. It's a really strong community, and I think that it's a big part of Scotland.
Well, it's lots of fascinating stories in there, obviously, and they will be told in this documentary series. It's called Show People, Licensed to Thrill. Extra points for that title. That's a good one. All episodes of that are available on the iPlayer now. It's broadcast on the BBC Scotland channel on Monday night, so that's tonight from 9 o'clock. But as I say, you can see all episodes on the iPlayer now. Show People, Licensed to Thrill. Alex and Sarah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Every morning we are here to put a smile on your face. Some people think we're funny, some think we're a disgrace. We don't care, we'll stay on air every single morning, 'cause listening to the other shows is just dull and boring. The Chris Moyle Show.
Right, it is 10:25. This is Kay Adams with you till 12 on BBC Radio Scotland. We are standing by to find out where he is today.
I'm actually in the French port of...
I got a truckload, and when you get it, you got something. So don't worry, Wow, what do we have here?
Mornings on BBC Radio Scotland.
And I was got something to say, got a question about travel for our expert Simon Calder, then call this number 08085 92 95 00. Speak to Simon Calder or leave a voice note or a WhatsApp message, and you can text 80295. Simon will be taking calls from just after 11 o'clock, though the lines are very much open now, so do get in touch. And Simon is with us from who knows where. Morning, Simon.
Good morning, or indeed where I am. It's, now 8:30 in the evening.
Ooh.
I am in 9:30 in the evening.
Ooh.
Beautiful Hobart in Tasmania.
Wow,
The sun has finally set. This is pretty much high summer here, and it is an absolute joy to be here, although getting here was most definitely far from a joy.
God, you say that, Simon. Funnily enough, I do follow you on social media, and you had a bit of a... Did you have 2 cancelled flights?
I had 2 intercontinental flights cancelled on successive nights by different airlines. It all began when I left, got to Heathrow Airport on Thursday, about 80 minutes before my flight to Singapore, because I don't like to arrive too early and hang around. And that was actually really lucky, because I was just trying to get through security and my boarding pass didn't work. And that was because they had literally just cancelled the flight. And this is a huge Airbus A380 with 460 people on board, or trying to be on board. And suddenly they are not going to be travelling on that plane. So I'm afraid it is every traveller for themselves in that situation. So I legged it round to the desks and I just said, look, I'd very much like to get to Singapore tonight. And they said, oh, that's all right. You've been rebooked on Qatar Airways via Doha and you'll get there kind of 5 hours later. And I said, well, actually, that's not quite what air passenger rights rules say. So can you possibly pop me on Singapore Airlines? So that worked. And I was only just over 2 hours late getting to Singapore. I then had a connecting flight on an airline called Jetstar, which is the budget bit of Qantas. And 80 minutes beforehand, everyone waiting at the gate, they suddenly said, a pilot's gone sick, the flight's cancelled.
Oh, God.
And at this stage, you haven't got, I'm afraid, anything to back you up. There's no... air passenger rights are non-existent in Australia. And so they just said, there's a flight tomorrow night, so off you go. And
that's
unfortunately, well, yeah, and we'll find a hotel for you and so on. But I said, look, I've absolutely got to get to an event, which is the whole purpose of me coming to Australia. And they said, well, tough luck, really. And I said, aren't you owned by Qantas? Can you put me on one of their planes? And they said, no. And so in the end, I spent a painful amount of money on the only seat I could find, which was on Emirates, and finally arrived about 14 hours late and very, very cheesed off and considerably out of pocket, I'm afraid.
So you won't get that money back?
I don't think no, I'll get my fare back, which was
right, but you won't get the
£300.
money that you spent on getting there on the more expensive flight.
No. So, that just shows you should, and if you want to get maximum protection, then you should always book a trip which is a through ticket, because I didn't have one. I bought one ticket from British Airways and another ticket from Jetstar, crossed my fingers and hoped for the best. And if I booked it all the way through, then as a single trip, then it becomes actually kind of British Airways problem to sort out. But that's not what happened. And so please take care, take note, everybody. And it's been really quite frustrating because, of course, you will know, flight cancellations happen. They are exhausting and stressful. And you're trying to work out what you can do, what your options are, and time is running away. And so, I could have done with that on one occasion, let alone 2.
Yeah, that was really bad luck, Simon. What a shame. And so where does your insurance stand on that then? I'm thinking for the second flight where that you just had to get there, so you paid out, additional money.
I'm afraid the policy I have doesn't cover that. I get, I think, an extra 25, maybe £50 for arriving late. But that's all, and that will barely cover the tax I had to pay to get out of Singapore. So it's.
I mean,
it's
is that worth
pretty
thinking about
hopeless.
when people are looking at their insurance? I mean, are there insurances that would cover you for that?
Yes, and if you've got an absolutely gold-plated insurance, you basically whatever goes wrong, they should be covering you. I haven't got that. I've chosen not to. I've then chosen to take a chance and hope that things will work out, and they don't. And well, that's the consequences. And sometimes, a lot of the time, it works. You can, for instance, travelling from Britain to the US, I will always fly on a cheap ticket to Dublin and then transfer to a transatlantic flight, avoiding air passenger duty and also getting through US Customs and Border Control while I'm still in Europe, so that you're just a domestic passenger when you arrive. But again, you're taking a chance if there's something goes wrong with your flight.
Gosh, well, if even
then you are going to be flummoxed.
If even Simon Calder can get caught out, then that is a salutary lesson to us all. Well, you didn't get caught out. I mean, it was an unfortunate thing you had no control over. But yeah, that is a worry. Just one quick thing before you go, Simon, because we'll let you. Well, you're not maybe going to have a cup of tea at 8:30 at night. You might have something stronger, but we'll speak to you again in half an hour. But we've been talking this morning about Trump tariffs, and of course we're seeing stock markets go up and down, mainly down. Also, the dollar is up. It's having an effect on the currency markets. You know, this could all change in 24 hours, but does it have any impact on the travel market?
Well, yes, in the immediate future, if you're going to the US, or indeed you're going to one of the many places around the world where their currency is tied to the US dollar, you're going to get far fewer notes and coins for your money than you would do if the dollar was not so strong. So, for example, if you're going to Dubai, the UAE dirham is tied to the US dollar at a fixed rate, as are many of the Caribbean currencies, and therefore things are going to be that much more expensive. And in the longer term, if the pound stays in the doldrums, that will mean the price of flying increases, because everything in aviation, from aircraft leases to fuel, is priced in US dollars. And so therefore, if the pound's doing well, and it did once upon a time, then things are really good and cheap. But if the pound slumps, then the cost of flying, I'm afraid, will go up.
Lovely news. Simon, listen, thank you very much. We look forward to speaking to you again in about half an hour's time. Simon Calder, travel expert there. So any questions at all that you have for him, do get in touch. 80295 is the text number, but give him a call, 08085 92 95 00.
On BBC.
Hey, boss, Auburn North Funeral Service got a complete funeral package for $18.95.
Get me out of here. $18.95. Take me over to Auburn North. Get me up out of here. I'm going to Auburn North.
Auburn North Funeral Service, $18.95 funeral package, $5.95 direct cremation.
iPlayer.
It is 10:39. Kay Adams with you till 12 on BBC Radio Scotland. Still to come this morning.
What MD, for people who don't know, basically is a muscle wasting disease. We need to keep going till we find a cure and get rid of MD.
Yeah, he did a phenomenal job for motor neuron disease, and now Doddy Weir's legacy lives on. We'll be speaking to the woman who he inspired to take up an epic challenge after 11 o'clock this morning. And TikTokers are smearing banana on themselves in the hopes of a tighter skin.
Dads and kids, what time is it?
Mornings on BBC Radio Scotland.
Just having a quick look through the questions already in for Simon Calder and his travel surgery. He is busy this morning, so if you would like to speak to him about a trip that you've either got coming up or that you are trying to unpick, then please do give him a call. 08085 92 95 00. You can leave a WhatsApp message there or a voice note, and you can text 80295. It is 10:43. Kay Adams with you till 12 on BBC Radio Scotland. Now, parents of premature babies and other neonatal conditions are welcoming new legislation which will give working parents up to 12 weeks of additional leave. The change comes in April and is expected to benefit around 60,000 parents across the UK. Here to discuss is Marie-Claire Tully, whose son Hector was born at 23 weeks. That was in November 2021. Hi, Marie-Claire.
Hi there.
Hi, morning. Beth McCleverty is Policy Research and Campaigns Manager for Bliss, which is the UK's leading charity for babies born premature or sick. Morning to you, Beth.
Morning.
Good morning. And employment lawyer Rupa Mukhar is with us as well. Hi, Rupa.
Morning, Kay.
Good morning. I was stumbling there, Beth, because suddenly in my head I thought, is it 60,000 or 6,000? Will you correct me on my numbers?
60,000 throughout Wales, Scotland and England.
Right, okie dokie, it's 60. So, you read a number and you think, have I got that right? Have I added the wrong number, the wrong zero on? But no, I didn't, 60,000. So that's an awful lot of people who are going to be affected by this change and hopefully in a positive way. Marie-Claire, what difference would it have made to you to have had this extra time?
Oh, it's an incredible new piece of legislation. I was very fortunate in that the charity Columba 1400, who I work for, they introduced this for Hector. So I did receive an additional 12 weeks. But my husband didn't. Hector was born on the Friday and he was back at work on the Monday, and he didn't take paternity leave until Hector was home 6 months later. And being able to do the being neonatal unit, and no, you don't need to think about any time that you're losing, because time stops when you have a baby prematurely, and to be able to have the security of knowing this extra 12 weeks is incredible and will make such a difference to so many families.
And also a kind of instant decision that you had to make, as to when your husband was going to take his time off, at a time that you probably hadn't made any decisions. I mean, 22 weeks is very, 23 weeks is very premature.
Yeah, so I hate saying this word, but if a baby's born before 24 weeks, it's classed as a miscarriage. And we'd lost a baby through about 15 weeks previously. And so I thought in my head that I didn't realise I'd had a baby, because we weren't allowed to see him because it was during COVID for a while. And it was the consultant, Dr. Emma Jabal, who's from the amazing NHS Lothian, who sat with me and said that I would be on maternity leave and that I had a baby, because at 23 weeks you're in such shock you don't realise, and when you can't see your baby as well, it compounds that. And trying to make the decision around how my husband, Hector's dad, is called Angus, how Angus could do his day's teaching and then come in. So we had it where my parents would take me in at 9 a.m, and then Angus would come in the evening. And it meant that there was a lot of medical information that I'd be receiving in the day whilst I'm recovering myself. And I then went on and got sepsis. And so I wasn't really in my most understanding. So to have had Angus there would have been incredible.
I mean, we use the expression premature baby, but and I think we've been using a little clip from Oti Mabuse earlier in which she says until you've actually been in that situation, you don't really know what's involved. It's an expression that we use. I mean, what is the reality of having a baby at 23 weeks? And, then I think, was Hector in an incubator for 4 months?
Yeah, at least he was in the neonatal unit for 6 months. And then he spent a lot of time in hospital, but he was in an incubator and then a heated cot for a very long time and needed so much support. And he had a very complicated neonatal stay. And it is absolutely terrifying. But what makes it possible is he the team around the neonatal unit, from the nurses, the doctors, the physios, they just make such a difference in how they explain everything, because you're hearing words that you've never heard of before. Hector had a bleed in the brain when he was born, and I didn't know anything about that. But then suddenly that's become our lives, and it's the most normal thing in the world. But when you first hear these things, it's terrifying, and there's just no words, and no one can really understand it unless they've been in it themselves. But it's about how people are alongside and the care and compassion that they give that makes it. Yeah, it's strange to think back to that time, because we were told to focus on breakfast, getting to breakfast, getting to lunch and getting to dinner, because Hector's survival, he was born 12th of November. We didn't know until the 30th of December if he was going to survive or not. So we just had to make the most of every minute of every day, because he's a wonderful wee boy. But a very, very difficult start.
Yes, yeah. Beth, Marie Claire's explained a little bit of just how all-consuming and distressing that period would be, or anxious maybe is the right word. But to add on top of that, the sort of current situation, and it's going to change, thank goodness, that parents might be thinking about money worries, about their jobs. Are they going to lose their job? Is there going to be one? And it's a great point that Marie Claire makes, that she herself was recovering from an ordeal and having to then process very complex information when really you would want somebody alongside you. Those are additional pressures that must really weigh heavily on parents.
Yeah, for sure. And it's an experience that's very traumatic for families. The kind of parents that have a baby in neonatal care are much more likely to be diagnosed with PTSD, postnatal depression, etc. afterwards. And while someone's going through the worst time in their life, so for example, Angus returned to work when they were in a situation when they didn't know whether Hector would survive. Like, that is unbelievable, I think, to most people. Be the situation, and that additional stress is just profound. Having a baby in neonatal care can be really expensive. There are actually schemes in Scotland that support with this, but generally you're spending a lot of your time going between home and the unit and back home. There isn't anywhere like a paediatric unit where you would stay over with your baby. It generally isn't provided in Scotland. So, it's a really, really tough time, and how you could expect someone to receive news about the care of their baby when it's so touch and go, when they really don't know the outcome. How you could expect them to go through that while their partner has gone back to work is just beyond me, which is why they've put in this legislation, which is the right thing to do. Yeah.
And you've been campaigning for quite a while on this one to get it through, haven't you? And you've been working with Stuart McDonald, the MP, yeah?
Yeah, yes, we worked so closely with Stuart, and he was amazing. In Parliament, MPs are normal people too, I guess, and there's a lot of MPs who have personal experience of this, who really, really pushed this through. And Stuart, without personal experience, said, yes, I'll take this bill on, and it's happened for families in Scotland and the rest of, Wales and England as well. He was absolutely amazing, and so have the government been. I mean, across two governments saying yes to this, I think, is exceptional.
So just remind us, if you would, what difference this is going to make from April to... And it's not just parents of premature babies, is it?
No, it's parents of any baby who's in neonatal care, but actually any hospital care that lasts for over a week before the baby reaches 28 days old. So actually that's quite a big group of parents, and they will be entitled to an extra week of paid leave from work for every week that their baby's in hospital at 12 weeks.
Right. Rupa, just to bring you in from the employer's point of view, how do employers get themselves ready for this?
There's a number of things that employers can do. So education is going to be one of them. Educating the managers who might be dealing with this, the HR team, to understand what the new rights are, and so that they are ready to be able to handle any requests that come in appropriately. Policy updates is essential, to review and sort of update the company policies to reflect the new entitlements that are coming into place. There's going to be a lot of payroll adjustments because there is going to be statutory neonatal care pay calculations that need to be made. We're still awaiting sort of detailed guidance in respect of how a lot of this is going to run. So, the eligibility criteria, we know what that is, but we're really waiting for guidance on that, how and when employees can apply for the leave and pay, what notice they need to give, evidence requirements. So all of these things need to really be looked at, and when the guidance obviously is in front of employers, really making sure that they're looking at that. And then one of the main things really we need to look at is employee support. So providing guidance and support to the employees, because yes, it's now available to them, but it's going to be their first time going through all of this. And as we've just heard from Marie Claire, that experience of going through that, you're not going to suddenly be an expert on neonatal leave as well. So I think that support piece is going to be really very crucial for employers to make sure that they've got that in place. And then, as always, a really supportive culture that really acknowledges the challenges that these new parents are facing who have babies in neonatal care.
Yeah. Marie Claire was saying that her employer was actually very understanding, and that is the case, that at the moment it's discretionary, yeah?
Absolutely. At the moment, in the absence of having these kind of specific leave provisions, employees have really been depending on either discretionary employer support or statutory leave, which isn't designed for prolonged hospital stays. So some people have actually maybe started their maternity leave earlier, or they've kind of gone into shared parental leave or used up paternity leave, and that's not what that leave is for. Or people are going off sick. So it's such a new, much needed leave. And, for Marie Claire, she's very lucky that she had an employer who saw her through that. But not all employees, unfortunately, are able to make advantage of that. And I think the other thing just to remember is that this at the moment is only for employees. So it's not talking about self-employed parents or those who are maybe workers. So again, it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah. I mean, Marie Claire, what would have happened in your case had your employer not been sympathetic?
Well, maternity leave begins the day the baby's born. So I would have had my standard maternity leave, but I would have just had to go back to work earlier. So you receive maternity leave from the day the baby's born. So there would have been support in place, but I would have Hector spent the majority of his first year in hospital. It would have meant I wouldn't have had any of those early formative experiences with him at home. And by having the extra 12 weeks, Hector's born in November, and with holidays and the extra leave, I didn't start work again until April 23. And that meant I think we had about 3 months where we were at home being able to just do what you do when you have a baby, but that was around all the extra visits you have, because once you get out of neonatal care, that's not the end. You have the incredible follow-up with the physios. You've got all the different visits. Hector was on oxygen. He was in hospital of operations. So we never really... It's only really now, 3 years on, I feel we've kind of got our feet caught up with things, because you've got all the trauma that you've been through and all the things you've missed out on. And it's very hard to form... build a parental network, because it's not many people that you can relate to. So it's because my maternity leave started, just meant that I would have had to go back earlier. And the financial support from the Scottish Government with expenses and food that get covered is really, really good. But I didn't realise that I didn't feel comfortable claiming that. I was very underconfident around that. But the neonatal team, the nurses really make sure you understand what's available to you. And they really encourage us to do that. And that helped us pay our mortgage. So that made a big difference.
Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that, Marie Claire. And this is the Neonatal Expenses Fund. It was launched in 2018. It was merged with the Young Patient Family Fund in 2021. And it provides financial assistance for parents, primary carers and siblings of young inpatients, covering accommodation, travel and subsistence costs during a baby's neonatal stay. So hopefully things are getting better. Thank you so much, Marie Claire. Really nice to speak to you this morning. And thanks also to Rupa Muker and Beth McCleverty.
conditions across the east and the northeast. Southwesterly winds moderate to fresh but strong for coastal areas. Gale force across northwestern coasts of the Highlands, Skye, Western and Northern Isles. BBC Radio Scotland News.
Quickfire quiz for you now. You know, Christine?
Certainly.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Tariffs. 2 R's, 2 F's or both?